This is the anniversary of Kalushi. In maybe 20 minutes, if I may be generous, just to paint us a picture in 20 minutes so that you don't go into too much detail, but we want to get a sense, having commanded the men, of what you think, what happened, but also just to reflect a little bit of your views about the current developments so that we move towards an appropriate political solution. You're speaking to us as a leader of the movement, so I don't have to be telling you what to say to us. It's only that we would like to hear you and to lay a good background for Comrade Soli to then speak after you. He will be our keynote address, keynote speaker after you.
Thanks, Comrade Chair. Maybe I should start saying that Comrade Solomon Kalushi Mahlangu belonged to the machinery in MK called Transvaal Urban. That was commanded by General Spiwe Nyanda. And he is the one who recruited Solomon Mahlangu from Angola to come and join the unit, the Transvaal Urban, which was based in Maputo. He recruited 3 people, one of them being Solomon Mahlangu. And those other 2 were the people that the comrade grew up with, attended the same schools. To our surprise, when Solomon arrived in Maputo, he requested a private meeting with us, that is the leadership of Transvaal Urban. What he said to us, he says he's very much prepared and willing to go to get to execute whatever task that we may want him to, but not with the 2 people that he is supposed to work with. We were very much shocked as to why, because those were childhood friends, people that grow together. And apparently he could notice our shock and dismay. He says, no, there is nothing wrong with these comrades. I grew with them. They are my best friends. There is nothing wrong with them. But they are not fit for purpose. I know them and I know who I'm talking about. Please put me in any other unit and not these 2 that were picked up with me from Angola. Then we obliged and then put him in a unit of George Mazibuko and Mutohu. And then I was tasked to prepare them psychologically and otherwise. Training, they already have their training, their crash course in Angola. And then I had to give them the final brief and to orientate them, to get them ready to get inside the country. General Nyanda gave me 7 days to do that. Every day, the whole day when I wake up, I had to go and have a discussion with them where they were staying. The briefing continued until the 7 days, and they were infiltrated in. At that time, as a machinery, we were experiencing a situation where many police were in Soweto. And Soweto, in the entire Transvaal Urban, was our main base. There were many things we were doing there. And the aim was to try and move the police and soldiers out of Soweto to elsewhere. And the plan was to go and do some armed propaganda, meaning carry out an operation in Tembisa, so as to decongest Soweto with so many police officers. They were briefed about the target, that you go there, here is the target, and you attack it, and immediately thereafter you come back. Arriving in Tembisa, they surveyed the target, they reconnoitered the target, and it was from the eyewitness who was with them, that is George Mazibuko. I wish he could be the one relating this thing. They regarded it as an innocent target. They said it was lonely, policemen coming out, this and that. But the attack was supposed to take place at midnight. But when they were listening to the radios, they were running battles in Soweto between the police and the residents there. And by the way, these were the people who were participating in the 1976 uprisings. And this time they were trained in the crash course though, and they were armed. So in their thinking, there was something wrong with us to identify that target when the real war is in Soweto. Then they decided to abandon that target and move to Soweto. And unfortunately, before they could arrive, or fortunately, I'm saying fortunately because, if these people could have arrived in Soweto, there would have been chaos. There would have been much more bloodshed than it should have been. So they were apprehended at Gough Street in Joburg. Fortunately, George Mazibuko escaped. How they were arrested, some plainclothes police officer stopped the taxi as it was supposed to take off. And he demanded, they were seated at the back of that taxi, the three of them. And he demanded that they get out after flashing his appointment card. Monty Mutoung and Solomon Mahlangu used one exit. And George Mahlangu used another exit. And their arms were in a paper bag. When they got out, the police officer requested to see what was in the bag, in the paper bag. They opened it, but when they were opening it, it was not to show the police officer as to what was in there. They took out their weapons. They were armed with an automatic pistol we called a she, and hand grenades. They took out their shees. It's an automatic pistol, and it is, you can use it as a rifle. It has a folding bar that you can unfold. So they took it out, unfolded it, and that police officer disappeared. And people around them also disappeared. And they started running or walking down Gough Street. It was because George Mazibuko used the different exit of that taxi, attention was not on him, it was on these two that were armed and they have taken out their weapon ready to fight. As they were running down Go Street, Monty Mutlohung was clearing the way just to let people get out of the road, not shooting anybody directly. But unfortunately, somebody came from behind and hit Solomon with a blunt instrument or the back of a, I don't know what he used, and he fell down. And I mean, he hit Monty Mutlohung. When Mutlohung fell down, Solomon hit just around there. And when they started beating the other comrade, Solomon got out of there where he was hiding and pointed his firearm at them and demanded that they stop assaulting Timothy. They all raised up their hands and requested him to hand over the automatic pistol. He said to them, I can only give you this weapon if you promise me one thing. They asked him, what is that? He says, after handing you this weapon, you are not going to continue assaulting Timothy and myself. They then said that this is granted. Okay, let me cut the whole story, the long story short, because the rest has been detailed in the media as to what happened. Comrade Chair Solomon Mahlangu was then arrested after handing over the pistol, and Timothy was so injured that he had to go to the hospital. And he was declared a state president case because mentally he was seriously damaged. This is why it was Solomon Mahlangu who had to go on trial. We all know the attempts that the ANC made from exile, instructing the legal team inside the country. When he was sentenced to death for the first time, the ANC ordered that, no, this comrade can't be hanged. Appeal. The legal team appealed. Second time, the court came back to say he must be hanged. The leadership of the ANC says no, appeal again. After the second appeal was turned down. On the third appeal, Solomon had a meeting, requested a meeting with his defense team. And what he said to them was, people, you have done your work, you have tried your best, but please, let these people do what they want to do. Because I don't see us winning this case. They want to hang me, and allow them to hang me. When they do that, when they hang me, the people of South Africa will then see how serious the struggle is. The legal team could not take that. He says, please, I don't want to embarrass you to go and reject you as my defense team in court. Allow these people to hang me. Then the message was conveyed to the leadership and Solomon was hanged. We remember what he said in court before the sentence could be passed. When he says, tell my people that I love them. My blood will nourish the trees that will bear the freedom, the fruits of freedom. Comrade Chair, when he was saying that, I really shed a tear. Because these were the words that, these were the things that we were discussing during the 7 days that I was tasked to be with them. He liked the story that I related to them. The one of I think it was the liberation of Italy. When Manzini says, the tree of liberty grows stronger when watered with the blood of the martyr, and the dagger of the assassin grows more deadly when sharpened on the tombstone of the martyr. I don't know how that those words were so interesting to me, because he asked me to repeat them more than once, and I did. So when he was saying the tree of liberty, I mean, his blood will water the tree that will bear the freedom and the fruits of freedom. It was I couldn't take it. So, Comrade Chair, the ANC, I don't know to say whether it's still a brand that it was. If it's still a brand, then the brand is seriously dented. And what is expected of anybody who regards himself as a member of the ANC, we have to really correct and bring this brand to its original status. I'm saying this because a brand, Comrade Chair, is not something that declared itself a brand. A Mercedes is not a brand because the owners of Mercedes or the manufacturers of Mercedes went about the street preaching that this is a very good car. The Mercedes proved itself on the road by the users, the consumers. So it is the consumers who declare a brand and not the owners. Now, I'm saying this to say that Solomon Mahlangu contributed in a most spectacular manner positively to the brand that the ANC was or still is. And when we commemorate this 65 years of the life of such a hero, this becomes the time when we have to reflect. First and foremost, everybody who call himself ANC, on whether what Solomon Mahlangu practically demonstrated, not in meetings, not addressing people, not in speeches, practically, whether we are living up to that or we are something else. Solomon Mahlangu Comrade did not say, tell members of the ANC I love them and they must continue with the struggle. He says, tell the people of South Africa that I love them and they must continue with the struggle. The big question is, are we continuing with the struggle? Are we really representing, are we really honoring our heroes to do exactly what they stood for? We don't have to hang, to die or hang in honor or in remembrance of this hero. The basic things of being real volunteers, the simple thing of honoring the oath that we took when we joined this organization. I'm saying it is a befitting moment for us to remember this hero comradeship, given the current state that the organization finds itself in. We are almost a shadow of our former selves as the ANC. It has been demonstrated, Comrade Chair, during the last local government elections that the people of this country know the ANC almost much more than some of us know the ANC. They demonstrated that by indicating that the ANC is now a different animal from what they know. Like I said about a brand, Comrade Chair, it was the people of South Africa who saw and who named the ANC a brand that is reliable. The ANC is managed like through efforts like this, the practical demonstration that Comrade Solomon did. His commitment, his dedication, his selflessness. That was practically demonstrated to the people of South Africa. And hence, we are saying he contributed in a very practical, visible way to the brand that the ANC became. Now, when the people themselves who sees the ANC as a brand, reliable brand, when the ANC was becoming something else in the last local government election, they demonstrated by walking away from the ANC in terms of vote. Not walking away to go and vote some other political parties, but walking away to stay with their votes at home and to show that this is a different brand than what we know. They know the ANC is much, much capable of doing much more than what was happening at the time when the people walked away from it And as a result thereof, Gauteng and Pretoria were lost to opposition parties. I'm saying it's a very befitting moment, Comrade Chair, because as members of the ANC, it is at this time that when we reflect on the time and life of a hero like Solomon Mahlangu, we should ask ourselves whether we are still taking the relevant direction, the appropriate direction that the ANC is known for. Like I'm saying, it has become, it's like Christianity to me. You know, even a person who does not go to church has never gone to church, but he knows what to expect from a Christian. He can tell a person who claims to be a Christian that Christians don't behave in the manner that you are behaving. Christians don't do things that you are doing. You are not a Christian. This person has never been to church, but he knows what Christianity, what to expect from a person who calls himself a Christian. So the people of this country, Comrade Chair, they have appreciated, they have seen through actions like that of Solomon Mahlangu, what the ANC is. The ANC is an organization of volunteers who vowed to be killed first before you can touch the people of South Africa. All of them, black and white, South Africans. Now, this brand that has been identified and named by the people of this country as such, if they are seeing a different thing, the ANC on its own cannot insist that we are a community leader, as we could proudly claim, and as we were referred to in the past. Because a brand does not declare itself, a community leader does not declare itself. It is declared by the beneficiaries of what it is doing, how it is conducting itself, the ethical leadership that it portrayed. So we hope this celebration or commemoration of Comrade Solomon's 65th birthday can really inspire us and can really shake us up and can really make sure that we are squandering the legacy that those who were there before us, like Solomon Mahlangu, gave their lives for it. The people of this country don't expect the ANC to be first in a queue of government posts. They expect them to be right at the end. The people of this country don't expect ANC members to be first in applying for tenders. They expect anybody who regards himself as a member of the ANC in good standing. I don't know what a good standing is. Whether good standing means that you have paid your membership fee up to date. Good standing should now mean whether you are true and honest to the oath that you took when you joined this organization. So clearly, the indication on the ground indicates that we are disappointing and we are ravishing the legacy that people like Solomon Mahlangu left for us. But comrades, it must be said that the current developments in the ANC now, for that the NEC must be congratulated, is living up to the promise they made. The NEC, after the dismal performance of the party during the last local government elections, promised the people that the ANC has had the people and the ANC will soft correct. The ANC has come out of many, many other challenges in the past. And they said, this time around too, we have heard you and we are going to self-correct. And a renewal project or program was adopted. I'm saying the NEC of the ANC must be congratulated, because practically there is a demonstration of the realization of this renewal project. What one can say to both the NEC and all of us as members of the ANC is that let's strengthen this renewal project. We cannot and we must not ravish this good legacy that people like Solomon Mahlangu has left for us. We will go in history as that generation who squandered a very, very good opportunity and legacy of taking this country forward. But we focused on other things, selfless, using all defense mechanisms to try and hide our personal, selfish needs. Let's just do half of what Solomon did in terms of commitment, in terms of dedication, in terms of selflessness. Just a quarter of what Solomon Mahlangu stood for, Comrade Chair, can really assist the glorious ANC to come back to be its former self and not just a shadow thereof. Once more, Comrade Chair, one would like to congratulate the NEC for the position, the practical position they have demonstrated to self-correct, to renew, to take the ANC back to its trademark of commitment, dedication, and selflessness. Let's support what the NEC is trying to do and let them gather strength and courage. When we do that, Comrade Chair, we shall be honoring our heroes like Comrade Solomon Kalushi Mahlangu. You have said 20 minutes, Chair, and I think I've taken 5 minutes. I've been generous about the time you gave me. Thank you.